My name is Amina, and I am 35 years old. For most of my life, I've navigated the world with a quiet determination, balancing work, family, and the small joys that keep me grounded. I live in a modest apartment in a bustling city neighborhood, where the sounds of life blend. Children laughing, distant car horns, the steady hum of everyday hustle. My days were comfortable, predictable, sometimes too much so. It all started on a typical Thursday morning. I was on my way to work, carrying a cup of black coffee and a few documents for a meeting. The city was alive around me, people rushing to their own destinations, caught up in their own stories. I noticed an elderly woman struggling with several grocery bags outside a small convenience store. She seemed overwhelmed by the wait and the traffic. Without hesitation, I approached her. "Would you like some help?" I asked, smiling gently. She looked up, eyes tired but kind, and nodded. "Thank you, dear. That would be wonderful." I took some of her bags, and we walked together to her nearby apartment building. As we climbed the stairs, she told me her name was Grace. She lived alone, and though she had family, they lived far away. I listened as she shared snippets of her life. Her love of gardening, her late husband's stories, the neighbors who looked out for her. What struck me most was the simplicity of her gratitude. She didn't ask for much, and yet her appreciation was overflowing. It reminded me how often we overlook the power of small kindnesses in our rushed lives. That day, I didn't think much more of it. But the next morning, I found a small note slipped under my door. It was from Grace. "Thank you for your kindness yesterday. It reminded me that there is still goodness in the world. If you ever need someone to talk to, my door is open." I was touched. In a city filled with strangers, this felt like an invitation, an unexpected connection. I decided to visit her after work the following week, bringing with me a loaf of bread and a pot of tea. We sat in her sunlit kitchen, talking about everything and nothing. She asked about my work, my family, my dreams. I found myself opening up more than I had in a long time. Her calm presence was comforting, a steady beacon amid the chaos of city life. Over the next few months, Grace and I became friends. We shared stories, meals, even moments of silence that spoke volumes. She taught me about patience, resilience, and the beauty of living fully in the present. I helped her with errands, and she encouraged me to pursue the things I'd been putting off. One afternoon, she invited me to her garden, a tiny patch behind her building where she grew herbs and flowers. She handed me a trowel and showed me how to plant basil. The earth was cool between my fingers, grounding me. It was a simple act, but it felt like planting hope. Through this friendship, I learned that life's most meaningful moments often come not from grand gestures, but from genuine connections. Shared kindness, attentive listening, the willingness to be present. Grace's health began to decline over the next year. I was there for her, just as she had been for me, helping with doctor's visits and keeping her company on quiet evenings. When she passed away peacefully one spring morning, I felt a profound sense of loss, but also immense gratitude. She had given me something invaluable. The reminder that even in a busy world, we are not alone. That reaching out, even in small ways, can change the course of someone's life, including our own. Now, every time I walk past that little convenience store, I think of Grace and the power of a simple, "Would you like some help?" And I carry her lesson with me always. That kindness is a gift, a bridge, and sometimes the very thing that changes everything.